Are you ready to grow your blog and earn a full-time income? You've probably heard it's SEO, consistent blogging, community building, or email leads. And yeah, that's true, but it's not the whole story. That's where this video comes in, because you're going to learn the one secret that successful bloggers use, but no one is talking about. So let's dive in. Welcome back to my channel. If you don't know me, my name is Brame. I'm a 5-time award-winning advanced digital marketing strategist. I help multi-industry entrepreneurs develop organic marketing strategies that create ride or die fans for life across multiple revenue streams. That's a lot to take in, I know, so thank you for joining me today. Today we're going to be delving into a topic that's backed by numbers: why successful bloggers are investing in advertising and how you can leverage this data to boost your blog's success. As always, chapters are linked and my sources are listed in the description below. So this video is a bit of a continuation of an older video where I talked about actionable stats you can use to grow your blog. One thing I had found out is that a significant number, or I should say a significant majority of bloggers are spending money to advertise their blog. 31% use paid promotion, and that is a 10.3 time increase over part-time bloggers. You don't really think about bloggers doing advertising, right? Like you think about they put ads on their site, but they don't really do paid promotion outside, but apparently they do. And apparently if you want to stand out, you're gonna have to start doing advertising, which blew my mind. You typically think about businesses spending money to advertise on blogs, but you don't really think about it the other way. You don't really think about it being flipped, where bloggers are spending money to advertise too. Or maybe it's just me, but I was so intrigued by this, I had to learn more so that I could share it with you. Fun fact, it's really hard to find sources on this. Googling bloggers advertising their blogs is just not helpful. But I think I found enough insights during my research that will more than cover good stats and things you can take away from it, or at least I hope I did. So let's get into it. Part 1, the power of paid promotion. All right, let's get straight to the point on this. Why are these successful bloggers investing in advertising? It's 3 reasons. 1, wider audience. With the digital landscape becoming more competitive, getting your blog noticed organically is like finding a needle in a haystack. Paid promotion can cut through that noise and put your content right in front of your target audience. Second reason, building brand authority. When you see a blog consistently popping up in your feed or on your favorite websites, you start associating it with credibility. It's a nice little psychological trick that people use. Paid advertising helps create that what's called top of mind awareness and positions your blog as an authority in your niche without you really having to do much except pay to play. The third reason is for bypassing SEO. If you've tried any sort of blogging, you've had it hammered into your brain that SEO is a must do. But the problem is Google keeps changing the game. And with its latest update, so many bloggers saw their blogs just tank. But instead of tweaking SEO for every single blog post, successful bloggers are bypassing it and using their money instead of their time by advertising across search and social. It's kind of like those Disney Fast Passes. You know, you can be in that pool of blogs, but if you're willing to pay to play, you can get ahead much faster. And that's why so many bloggers are doing it. So now let's go into what the stats are telling us. We talked about why they're doing it. Now let's get into the strategy part. As a caveat, some of these stats are for content marketers, which to me is semantics, because since bloggers are content marketers, even if they don't use that title, they're pretty much one and the same. So where are these content marketers spending their money. SEMrush found that 63% of survey respondents used paid channels to, quote, accelerate their content distribution, which means essentially skipping the line. Here's the full breakdown of SEMrush's findings. You'll see there are a few buckets where they're tossing ad spend: paid social media, organic research, basically paying for SEO tools, content audits, paying for access to tools that improve their reach, which I guess isn't really advertising. So why it's there, no idea. But I thought it was worth mentioning anyways. Next, sponsorships, PR, influencers, guest posting. Now, some of these could be free. It wasn't really specified, especially like PR and guest posting. However, a full-time successful blogger is going to leverage their time where it's needed most. I would suspect that many hire a publicist to take care of most of this so that they can focus more on content strategy and the business side of blogging. Now, if you're someone who's looking for a way to delegate tasks so you can also focus on building your blog into a business, you should download my Delegate, Automate, and Eliminate guide. It's designed to help you figure out the ways you can optimize your blogging workflow to create a more streamlined business model. And it's totally free. It's in my members library. So just click on the link in my description to sign up and you can get instant access to the guide. How much are they spending? So details on this are scarce because nobody's really fessing up on how much ad money they're spending, but I did find a few interesting leads. Millennial Money claim they know bloggers who spent $20,000 on ads, but there isn't any direct sources, so yeah. However, Nutshell came up with this great table that shows what the average cost per click is per platform. And here's also cost per mil, which is where you pay per impression and not click. So there's different advertising strategies here. Content Harmony broke down what they believe are ideal budgets that include both your time and money. I picked the solopreneur budget for this since it seems to be the most relevant. So what are they advertising? This is where strategy comes into play because you've got to think about your sales funnel. There are a few different strategies here, so let me break down two of them. First is what's known as cold leads. These are people who have no idea who you are, or they've seen your content once, maybe twice, like on Pinterest or something, but really couldn't pick you out of a lineup. These are the hardest to convert, but are pretty cheap ad spend overall. These people will go into the top of your funnel, commonly referred to as the no part. In a way, it's like a first date where you intrigue them enough in your ad to get them to your site, and now they've got to see if you're really what they're looking for. For these people, you'd want to offer something free or super duper cheap, like $1, because the goal of these leads is to have them move further down into your funnel. Now, with a cold lead campaign, you should expect to get a lot of interest and clicks to your landing page, but not as many downloads or conversions as you might expect. It's kind of like Tinder. I think I've been married for 14 years, so I don't really know how it works. Essentially, it's a pool of potentials that eventually weed themselves out. Strategy 2 is the warm lead campaign. These are what are known as retargeting, you may have heard, campaigns, because they know who you are, they've been to your site, and maybe they follow you on a few social accounts. Think about it this way. The Tinder part is done. Now you're trying to move them into a committed relationship. They've passed the no part of your funnel and are now in the middle, which is commonly referred to as like. There's 3 parts to a funnel: know, like, trust. A warm lead campaign will be less people than a cold lead campaign, but hopefully more conversions, because it cuts out that really hard part of them getting to know who you are. It will probably also cost more overall than the cold lead campaign. For these sorts of campaigns, bloggers will typically offer something of high value but low cost. So maybe like an ebook bundle, a 30-minute coaching call, whatever. This isn't your highest tier product. It's instead something that gets them into the habit of buying from you. Your goal is to push them down into that final part of the sales funnel, that trust part, because that's where your conversions will happen. And then from there, You can nurture the lead turn customer into buying more from you, but that's another conversation. Right now, we're just talking ads. There's also another retargeting campaign you can do that reconverts old paying customers into new ones, but that's more e-commerce than blogging, so we'll skip that for another day. So we've talked about why bloggers create paid ads, where they allocate their ad spend, what they advertise, and how much they might spend. So let's just kind of mash this all together and help you create a strategy for advertising your blog. Here are the things you need to think about before putting those Amex numbers into Meta's hands. 1, do you know your audience? You might think, well, I don't know, every female millennial in the US would love my blog. That's my target audience. But that is going to cost you a ton of money to start this. You'll really need to hone in your target demographic and keenly understand who they are, what problems they have, and how your blog solves these problems. Check out my niche marketing workbook in my free members library if you need more help. 2, do you have a product? What are you going to be spending money promoting? And by the way, if it's just to get more readers and subscribers, then that could also be considered a product, especially if you leverage that to pitch to brands for sponsorships or things like that. Just keep in mind, it'll be harder to earn your money back if there's nothing directly to sell, but it's still a doable campaign. 3, are you earning any money yet? You can always spend money to make money, you know that old adage, but you should really be earning something out of this blog first. This proves you have what's known as a viable concept that people will pay to get. And it can't be your mom buying your thing. It has to be a stranger. But even if it's one stranger, go for it. Last one, not last one. Next one, what does success look like to you? This is higher level in the ad campaign, but you need to think about if advertising will directly contribute to that vision, or are you just going to be paying for ads because you think you need to be like everybody else? So what would you consider a successful ad campaign? Is it amount of money earned, amount of sales, number of clicks, number of comments? Basically, like, what is the thing you can point to and say it worked or it didn't work? Also, it needs to be specific. It's scary, but you're gonna need to put a real number to work against. It can't be, I'll get more sales off my ebook, that's my goal. Because, well, if you get one sale, that's a successful ad campaign. Is that really what you thought? Is that really what you wanted? Get into specifics. The more you do that, the more fleshed out you're going to be for strategy, and it's just a better idea. Next, how much can you spend and how long do you want to advertise? Does your ad campaign need a specific season or time of year, or is it evergreen? If it's seasonal, then you'll need to create a campaign that starts seeding your blog into the ad space much earlier than you think. You know how you start seeing Christmas ads in October now? It's because companies want to get it into your head that they've got the gifts you need now and not when it's 10 days before Christmas. Evergreen can start whenever, obviously. We've covered a lot, so let's break down what it is you're going to need to do. 1, know your audience. It saves you so much time and so much money. 2, shore up your website. Make sure it works and looks right on desktop, mobile, tablet. Also look into your analytics and see how people usually hit your site. That's the format you're going to want to focus on the most. Next, have a CTA, a call to action you can track. Don't just promote a blog post. Give yourself something that can count as a conversion. Email subscriber, comments, downloads, schedule a call, whatever your funnel looks like, that's what you're going to want to zone in on. Next one, subscribe to my channel. In my videos, I break down marketing tips for what I call multi-industry entrepreneurs, people that run multiple businesses. If you're a blogger who's also got an e-commerce store or a coaching business, this stuff is designed specifically for you. So please subscribe. I would love to have you as part of my community. Next, have a sales funnel. Don't spend money if you can't nurture the conversion. Know where your ad will take people to a landing page and the life cycle of that customer. And basically a life cycle is just getting through that funnel and then what happens when they're at the end of the funnel and they've bought. Next, understand the time of year you need to start your campaign. Evergreen is easier, but you'll get less of a rush of sales. Seasonal gets the bigger push, but typically requires you to be ready a few months ahead of schedule and might cost more. Last part, start small. Don't begin a full-fledged ad campaign right off the bat. Throw $50 on one of your biggest platforms so that it's a low barrier of entry for you, and monitor the results. Find key data points you can use for a bigger ad campaign later on. So again, how many people saw it? How many people clicked? That kind of stuff. If you want more detailed stats about what bloggers are doing to make money and the tactics they use to go full-time, you're gonna want to check out this video next.